Hi. So, I'm not the greatest at these things yet, but I don't think anybody really is. I put this off now for a few weeks because I put a post on Facebook about sexual abuse. I'm gonna get through this, okay? I'll probably have to delete some of it. So, I've been sexually abused since I was, that I remember, 3 years old. Maybe even 2, but I remember 3. It doesn't matter who, it's the fact that it happened. And it was a man. And women can be abusers also. But mine has mostly revolved around men. Women with other things, mental abuse, that kind of thing. Like everyone, we're all human. I've given it too, you know, I'm not perfect. But sexual abuse, that's an issue. I know that men can do better than what they have been doing. Not all men, I know there's some good ones out there. Someone explained to me that not all men are wolves and not all men are sheepdogs. And I guess that would make me the sheep. So, yeah. So, sorry. I really put this video off and I don't want to do it anymore. I really want to get it over with. Okay, so the most recent thing that happened was a bug man that came to my new home to spray for bugs. I've been 255 pounds. In the last 8 or 9, 10 months now, I've lost 85, 90 pounds. Due to awesome things, you know, breathing right, drinking right, eating correctly, loving myself more than ever in my life. I'm 53 now. And I've learned a lot of things. I've been through a lot. So I have all these thoughts just going on in here. I'm sorry. So by losing the weight, it also made me, I guess, more attractive to men. I guess. I don't know. It's just what I seem to know when I lose weight. That's what happens. I've had men come out of a door at a store and look at me in disgust because of my weight. And that really, really pissed me off. It almost made me want to stay big because I couldn't believe the balls of some men. So anyway, remember, I'm not talking about all men, just some. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with my eyes looking at the camera. Okay, so the bug man came, and we had met him briefly a few weeks before that when he came by to introduce himself. And this was a company hired by our house development here that they suggested. And he was very nice the first time he came, and my husband was here and my daughter. And then the day that he needed to come back and spray, which they suggest you do, you know, if you see anything, call them. And I did. And I'm a very compassionate person, and I told him, you know, what time would he like to come, and he was like, well, what's good for you? Well, I'm home all the time. I'll probably edit that out. So I wanted to be accommodating for him because I realized he must have a busy schedule, and it was like, I think, on a Friday. And I was calling last minute, and I just wanted to accommodate him, not me, because I'm flexible. I'm too flexible now that I understand. My husband's helped me understand. I should have been more direct with him. So by being friendly to him and worrying about his schedule, I guess he took that the wrong way of me being kind, and he mistaken that for something else. Because the next day when I went to open the door, I cracked it and I looked, and I couldn't believe his eyes. They were a black color. They had been like a warm honey brown before, if I'm remembering correctly. But they were a black, and he didn't blink. And I opened the door, and I knew something wasn't quite right. His demeanor was different. The not blinking, I know men don't blink as much as women do anyway, but he didn't blink at all. And his eyes were just so dark. And so I let him in, and he sat his can down with his little spray thing, and I thought, oh, okay, why is he sitting it down? And I thought, oh, he's putting on his little booties on his feet to cover his shoes, because I have a no shoe policy in my house. So I thought maybe that was it. And then he never picked it up, and then he started to walk towards me. And it's not a very large living room at all, and it's a combo kitchen living room. And so I had left my phone on the bar in the kitchen, and I have a bulldog, Cletus, and he's not very aggressive as a bulldog. He's a puppy, but he's learning to be aggressive, so that's good for me. And he just wanted the man to play with him, so he was like getting slobber on his pants and stuff. So I went over and I actually took the rag I have available for that, and I wiped his pants, and he wanted to talk. I can't really remember all of it because I kind of blacked a lot of it out, but bottom line, it doesn't matter the step by step. It just means that he did things he shouldn't have done. He touched me in ways he should have never touched me. He did not have permission. I did not give him permission. I didn't do anything to suggest that he should. And I ended up putting the dog in the cage because he asked me to, because I thought he was afraid of him, which I thought was strange. He asked me when my husband would be home, and I of course answered, and then he asked me when my daughter would be home, and then a red flag went off in my head, and I was like, oh, she'll be home any minute. She's at school, but she'll be home any minute. Well, that gave him a limited amount of time to do whatever it was he thought he was going to do. And being abused at 3 years old, I guess I had like a PTSD, which I thought was only for the guys who came back from the war. Now I understand more, and I understand anyone can have this. And I had it, and I have it, and I'm trying to work on that. I'm sure I'll be good one day, and I'll be able to handle myself in a more appropriate way next time and stand up for myself. But women get these innuendos from men when they're being aggressive, and they can be aggressive. And I really believe, being a nurse, knowing a little bit about science, that it has to do with testosterone levels. And if they have a high testosterone level, they're going to be more like the alpha male and be more aggressive. And that makes perfect sense to me. It should to you also. The lower a man's testosterone, the kinder and simpler he is. Not saying that alpha males are not kind. I get that, they are. I know quite a few of them. But when their hormonal instincts kick in, it's hard for them to control them. And I understand this. But no means no. When a woman shuts down and doesn't give you any signals or feedback that she's liking what you're doing, back the fuck off, because you don't know if she's been abused, she's been through things in her life, and you are just causing more of a problem for her. So know that, please. Women, if you've been through something like this, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I won't even get into all the details. There's no point. I thought I would, but there's no point. Now that I'm doing this, I can see better. I just want to know, or I want you to know, I'm going to start a retreat for women of all kinds. A mother and daughter retreat for good times. And I want really the mother and daughters who are having issues with growing up, girls who don't understand where their mothers are coming from or what they've been through. Because you know what? Inside, we're all 8-year-old little girls. And I say 8-year-old because think about it. At 6, you were still kind of really young. And at 10, you were starting to understand life better. But at 8, you were right in the middle. You still wanted to play with your dolls. You still wanted to play house. You still wanted to play outside. You still wanted to climb trees. And you didn't have to worry about what was for dinner, usually. There's some people that did, I know. But an 8-year-old American girl usually doesn't have to worry about what she's going to eat for dinner. So you kind of had freedom. You know, there was always a bowl of cereal you could go eat, or peanut butter and jelly you could go make. Or someone can make it for you. So the retreats are going to be for those kind of women who just want a closer bond with their daughters who want a closer bond with their mothers, and they don't know how to quite get it. And it's also going to be for women who've been abused And I'm going to have counselors there and doctors and whatever you need. I'm going to make sure it's there because this needs to happen. I'm sure there's other retreats like this, and I hate to even use that word because I just sent my 19-year-old on one in Hawaii. She paid for it. She worked hard. It was very expensive. I think around $2,000 with airfare. I'm in Florida. Florida is like Hawaii. It's beautiful and a paradise, although it has its darkness. Everywhere does. So I'm pretty sure in Florida, here on some of the beaches, there's campgrounds that are absolutely gorgeous, and there's inland camps that we can go to, and there's bed and breakfasts I can probably rent out. So it needs to be affordable so that I can do this for everyone on every budget. And I want to be able to take some of the money and reward it to moms and daughters who need this and can't afford it. So I think that's all I need to say right now. I really wanted to go on a lot longer, but this is intense for me, and I'm going to probably edit some of it. I love you. Namaste.